So I know a lot of people be like, yo, you talk about all this cosmic stuff. What the yeah, I know I'm related to the cosmos, but like how can I use that to apply that in my daily life? Like what the fuck what are you talking about? Like I don't get it. And like that's exactly what I want you to think about. Like I really want you to process that. Because like actually it has everything to do with your daily life. If you could just know that everything is you are it, then what do you think your emotions are? What do you think your thoughts are? Where do you think they come from? What if I told you it's not that you're the blame for your thoughts and your emotions, but you're responsible for observing them? They're not because of somebody else, depending on how adept you are at perceiving them. Like, for example, if I know there's patterns in the universe, there's patterns within me. So there's patterns within my psyche and there's patterns within my emotions. Whoa, if there's patterns within my emotions, then and there's cycles within the universe and there's cycles within my thoughts and there's cycles within my emotions and there's cycles within my body. So wait. Let's choose one. There's cycles within my emotions. How can I dive deeper on this? Do I have emotions that come and go every now and then? What are these emotions? Are they like set on a timer? And then as I get older, I start putting certain different like cogs in the wheel, you know? We start getting these different impressions and you know, throughout life, and we started getting influenced and we start, you know, creating certain chemistries that then throw another emotion or thought into the wheel of the cycle in which you're going to experience. Is there a way maybe to clear the K, if you will, clear the Q of my thoughts and my emotions? Like meditation, right? Like also, for example, when you are going through stuff in your life, the darkest stuff in your life, you're going to want to know how to handle these things. Like, you're going to want to know, like, okay, I know this thing is going on in my life and it's really rough, you know? Like, I'm going through, you know, you're going through the lowest of the low. And, like, you're going to want to know that there's nothing trying to go against you. Even though it feels horrible, you're going to want to know that. You're going to want someone to tell you that. But if you have the awareness of what all this is, you can tell yourself that. You're the one who's going to pick you up at the end of the day. You're the one who's going to talk to yourself at the end of the day and remind yourself, man, hey, look, this is all a part of the game. This is all a part of the as above, so below, as inward, so outwards. This is all a part of the as above, so below, as inward, so outwards. Don't be fooled. This is what you're going to be telling yourself because you have the knowledge. And, you know, yeah, you got to apply it. And that's in the moments when you see how the application actually aligns. So, for example, okay, I am the universe. Okay, so that means when I'm walking down the street and I get a vibe and I say to myself, oh, I don't like this dude. I don't like this person, man. I'm whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, that's making me feel that way. But what is that feeling? Oh, that's me. Why do I feel that way? Since that's me, that's coming from me. So why do I feel that way? You start observing patterns because you understand that everything has patterns. And so maybe it's because when I grew up, people would do this and they would bully me and they would do similar things. So now whenever it happens to me in today, that's how I get triggered. Okay, I see the pattern. I see where it comes from. It comes from somewhere deeper within me. Okay, so now that I kind of like can see this full circle moment with myself, it kind of takes me outside of the situation to create a little bit of space between me and actually like believing that I'm that pattern, you know? And it's showing me that I'm the observer of the patterns, right? Back to my previous videos and what I was saying. So now you see how it all aligns. And it's like, okay, I'm the observer of the patterns. So is there a way I can shift the tides? You know what? I'm going to choose not to respond the same way that I used to. And this time, because I see it's not because of this person. This person doesn't deserve to necessarily receive me expressing my hatred or my aggravation about something that has nothing to do with him, because ultimately it's because I have my experience in the past that made me feel the way that I feel. It's not because of him. It's not because of this person. So because of my experience in the past, I got to take responsibility for me and what created the chemistry within myself. And in a deeper way, because, you know, we have generational trauma, you know, so like certain things really pass down. You got to ask the question, why did you attract this experience when you were a young child? When you were young, you wasn't smart enough to really try to intentionally like perceive people a certain way. Right? So it goes that deep. And when you can go that deep, you know, that's when the deep levels of healing start to take place. You start to heal generational trauma and heal generational curses and things like that. Because you know that it's coming from within, so you know where to look. So you know how deep you can dig now. You can dig deep now that you know where to go, right? So, you know, it's about really seeing with the eyes that can see. But it's not necessarily the eyes that sees the red light and the blue light. The red shift, blue shift. It's not really those, but it's the eye. And, you know, and this is just one way that you can choose to see all of this in a harmonic way, you know. And, you know, for me, learning all of these, honestly, this adept knowledge and information about self and the universe, and it really changed my life. Like I can safely say that, you know, I'm humble. I can humble it down and say that. And you know, no ego, you know, all gratitude to all that make it all happen. You know, it's a symphony, it's a song, and I'm in it, and I'm playing my part in it. And so, and that's another thing is you really want to feel empowered, because it's like first you become empowered, like I'm great, I'm grand, but you're also very, very tiny. But, you know, let's not take away from how grand you are now. What makes you really, really grand is your ability to maneuver yourself through it all and to intentionally and consciously build, you know, instead of moving unconsciously. You know, and that's what we really are working on in these times, you know, like we really want to become wholesome and balanced, you know, shout out to Seven Boom, our wholesome and balanced vibrations. And ideally, that's what we seek to do, is to become wholesome and balanced. And throughout all of this, you know, like life is like a movie or a video game that is constantly going. And, you know, it can tire you out if you don't know how to balance the energies, the yin and the yangs, the highs and the lows. You know, and if you in a distorted belief about existence, it's going to tire that belief out. So you got to liberate yourself from the weight that is being carried from your own beliefs, because that's gonna drag you down eventually, and you're gonna be like, oh man, like I'm starting to, I don't know where to go, you know. And that's where, you know, a lot of the religious people, you know, their religion is getting tired out, because the world who created it is really challenging it. So I'm gonna leave it here. You know, this knowledge can empower you, and once it empowers you, it's important for you to apply that so you can see how it really works in your day-to-day life. So without that, you won't be able to see the whole picture. So again, wholesome and balanced vibrations is what we are seeking, not a big ego. Peace and love to you. New.L tapping into my purpose. Peace.